Wednesday afternoon edition to the map discussion. I apologize for not posting a video Monday, but I was out of town. So we're back at it. So here you can see the dominant weather feature across at least the eastern half of the United States is this pretty strong high pressure center centered over, well, at least this afternoon was over Missouri. This still has a broad area of influence from northern Florida all the way to the Dakotas and across the southern plains, as well as to the northeast. This high pressure center will be very, very stubborn, and you'll find that this particular video, as far as the weather goes, is going to be, well, quite boring. High is really influencing our temperature. So here is the radar overlaid with the alerts. So across the western Carolinas, you have freeze warnings and frost advisories. The frost advisories mainly make up the western Piedmont and the southern foothills in North Carolina and upstate generally, as well as the foothills and mountains of South Carolina into northeast Georgia, while the freeze warnings are for the mountains of North Carolina. This is for tonight. Temperatures will get pretty cold this evening. So when you go to work tomorrow morning, especially across the Charlotte metro area, and double especially across the mountains, you'll find that the temperatures will be really, really cold. So bundle up and warm up your car, except don't let anybody steal it. So the radar here out towards the east shows some reflectivity, especially across the sandhills of North and South Carolina and to the coastal regions of South Carolina. But I couldn't find any observations where some of this was reaching the ground. I'm not saying that it's not reaching the ground. It's just I couldn't find any observations to. So be wary that if you're in between Fayetteville and Rockingham and Laurinburg or Raleigh, areas generally south of the I-40 corridor, don't be surprised if you run into some rain. The only observation that I found was actually reporting rain was Cape Hatteras, which out here is, these are pretty heavy returns out here. So be mindful of that. Take an umbrella if you want to go see the lighthouse. Like I mentioned before, this is going to be a very boring forecast video. But, given what we've been dealing with for the past 3 or 4 weeks, boring's good. So this is our high pressure center that was analyzed over central Missouri. This should be towards the Boot Heel by this evening. So this is 8 p.m. this evening. And as we go through the day Thursday, this high really doesn't move all that quickly. By Saturday or Friday night, this is centered over the northeastern United States. And then, as we'll see in a little bit, it's just going to hang out there. So here, this map here is Saturday morning at 8 a.m. That high is still centered over southern Pennsylvania, parts of West Virginia. This is Sunday morning at 8 a.m. And here's Monday morning at 8 a.m. It's not really moving all that quickly. In fact, these two maps show Tuesday at 8 a.m. and Wednesday at 8 a.m. respectively. This high pressure center is just going to just sit there over us. Now, here's the good news. If you do not like the cold weather, because this high pressure center is sitting over our area, over pretty much the eastern seaboard, is the good news is that the air mass, which originated from Canada, is going to modify. And so what that means is the Carolinas is going to see a general warming trend through this period. It's not going to stay this cold the entire time, we're going to modify the Canadian air mass, and it's going to feel more and more like late fall, or I'm sorry, early fall, towards the middle part of next week. Take a look more in depth, Carolina specific, of that warming trend over the next couple days, or few days really. This is the high temperature for Thursday, tomorrow, October 17th. Generally 50s, upper 40s along the Tennessee border in the mountains, 57 in Asheville, getting into the lower 60s in the Piedmont, and maybe the mid to upper 60s along the coastal regions of South Carolina, 67 towards Savannah, Georgia. On Friday, we're going to continue that warming trend, 67 across the Piedmont areas of North Carolina into upstate South Carolina, getting into the upper 60s across the Greenville, Spartanburg area, all the way up to Charlotte into the Raleigh-Durham region. Low 70s around Columbia and points to the south. Wilmington, a high of 68 on Friday. On Saturday, the temperatures along the coastal regions from Jacksonville, New Bern down to Wilmington through the Myrtle Beach area is going to look at the low to mid 70s, while we're hanging on to the 60s in the Boone region at 65 and 69 in Hickory on Saturday. Sunday, we'll continue the warming trend. 74 in Charlotte, 76 along the coastal areas of North Carolina in Wilmington, getting into Hilton Head Island, and again 77 in Augusta, Georgia, and 75 in Columbia on Sunday. Getting into Monday, you're going to touch 80 in the southern parts of South Carolina towards Savannah, Georgia, and points south of Columbia, while we're still hanging on to 60s in Boone at 69. But generally, most of us will be in the mid to upper 70s on Monday. And on Tuesday, we're going to be in the low 80s across the coastal regions of South Carolina, getting up towards Columbia. Flirting with 80 around Wilmington at 79, 78 in Charlotte, and 74 in Asheville. For tonight's temperatures, this is why we have a freeze warning across the mountains and a frost advisory across the Piedmont sections of North and South Carolina. 27 degrees is forecast as a low temperature when you wake up tomorrow morning in Boone. 41 in Charlotte, there's that heat island. You got upper 30s, mid to upper 30s around Charlotte. Albemarle, 36, 35 in Hickory, 38 in Greenville, Spartanburg. While on the coastal regions, you'll start getting into the low 40s, even the mid 40s across Savannah over to Hilton Head Island. On Friday morning, you're still looking at the mid 30s across the Piedmont areas of North Carolina, even 41 in Charlotte and Greenville, Spartanburg, 40 in Columbia, 38 in Raleigh. Myrtle Beach checks in at 43 on Friday morning. Saturday morning, we're getting into that warming trend again. We're barely going to get out of 40s in the Piedmont areas. You're still holding on to the upper 30s to mid 30s across the mountain regions. Colder spots, of course, on the ridges, but generally in Charlotte, 43 degrees over towards Greenville, Spartanburg. While you're looking at the low 50s across the Savannah and Hilton Head Island regions, and even 50 degrees towards the Pamlico Sound region, and low 50s towards Wilmington on Saturday morning. When you go to church Sunday, be sure to bundle up still across the areas of Hickory. It's 42 degrees, 39 in both Boone and Asheville. Looking at the mid 40s to upper 40s across the sand hills of North and South Carolina, and mid 50s in Wilmington on Sunday morning. As you go off to work on Monday morning, expect temperatures to be in the upper 40s across the Charlotte region, and then 50s along the coastal regions, mid 50s, and even some 60s towards Savannah as you go to work Monday morning. And then Tuesday, we're continuing that warming trend, mid 40s across the Piedmont and foothill areas of North Carolina and South Carolina, 50 anywhere from Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte to Greenville, Spartanburg, and then even some 60s down towards Savannah. And taking a quick look at the tropics, I'm not really too worried about this. Invest 94L here, which has a 40% chance of development over this region. I'm not really concerned at this point because remember, we have this huge high pressure center over the eastern half of the country that's going to pretty much protect at least the eastern part or the east coast from any tropical cyclones. So thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.